Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Hey, welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. We're going to start in a few minutes, but I want to tell you to hit up our social sites, retweet, share, comment, like, do all of that stuff. It can only help us out and it'll make the show even better. But we're getting ready to give you a lot of good Ole Miss information, and I just thought I would tell you that because the POMcast is starting. Well, it's starting right now. Wait, no, that's a little early. It is starting right about now. All right, welcome. Good morning on this Tuesday morning. Welcome to the POMcast. I'm your host, Stephen Willis. First of all, I want to get started in this jam-packed show. Travel and Cruise World. Their number is 1-800-330-7461. Again, their number is 1-800-330-7461. Hey, Guy. Thanks for watching, man. I know Corey was talking smack last night. I heard a little bit of that. We'll have a good time. We'll talk about that, and it'll progress over the next couple of weeks. But call the Travel and Cruise World at 1-800-330-7461. What I wanted to do was give you a local with a resource down on the ground. They can get you the same price you can online. The parks actually pay them. So that resource on the ground here can tell you about new rules and everything that's going on with COVID in order to protect your vacation. So give them a call, 1-800-330-7461. Also, go to Book a Tailgate. These guys handle single game packages, all season package. They can store your tailgating equipment, or they can rent you tailgating equipment. They'll even be able to deliver your catering for your tailgate. So it will provide the ultimate experience for tailgating in the Grove, as it's surely going to grow and grow and grow over the coming weeks. That's www.bookatailgate.com, www.bookatailgate.com, 662-701-1177. Also, go to law-terrain.com. That's lawterrainwatches.com, the official watch of the POMcast. You can get a nice, stylish watch right there. And whenever you get it, just do POMcast at checkout. You'll get 10% off, and they'll be able to know that you got it from here, so it would help me out as well. So do that, law-terrain.com. You'll see it on the bottom eventually today. And go to there, promo code POMcast at checkout. Also, if you want to watch the show, you can catch us at the Stephen Willis or at Old Positively. You can catch us at facebook.com/POMcast. Follow, like it if you would. Also, we're on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Subscribe, hit the bell. You'll not only know that we're streaming, you'll know what we're streaming about. Many people use this feature, listen to the podcast, and they're watching other areas, but the notification system is fantastic on YouTube. Also, we're on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word, all lowercase. Audio-wise, we're on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Pandora, Amazon Music, and Audible. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm glad you tuned in for that. So on today's show, we are going to do a little bit of a statistical analysis. Oh, that's not good, huh? Let's see. Yeah, take that off and delete that shot. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. There's my Twitter stuff that I had yesterday just randomly disappeared. So that is fine. We got that fixed real quick. So we're going to do a statistical analysis of the Ole Miss team. We did a final look at Tulane yesterday. And today we're going to do a statistical analysis through the first quarter of the season about Ole Miss. And it's not going to be anything huge deep dive. We're just going to show you a couple of stats and what they mean to us and why we're paying attention to it to start with. So we're going to do that. we're going to have a first look at Alabama, and we're going to show you the top 6 from the review show because, hey, Lynn, hope you're doing well in Texas. That is awesome. And so we'll do a first look at Alabama, and then we'll do a top 6 from the review show. We do a review show every week. And what that show is about a 10-minute period that just gets you caught up on the news of the day. And you can watch that 10-minute video and be ready to go. I'm seeing some analytically why everything's starting to switch on that. And it's just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, stay cool. Stay cool, Lynn. Absolutely. And I can imagine. I'm in South Florida, so I get the heat as well. But watch that review show. Get caught up. It's not necessarily an Ole Miss-centric thing. It's going to be a thing that is country as a whole. The big storyline this past week is, does Alabama have cracks? Even so, because a one-dimensional quarterback for Florida for the last 10 years, in order to compete with Alabama, not beat them, compete with them, you had to have elite quarterback play. Now a one-dimensional Florida team that was not quarterback really based almost beat them. I think there's some cracks and some worrying things that might pop up. Also, Ole Miss leading the conference in rushing attempts. It's kind of funny. They're running 60-40. 60% of the time they're running the ball, so it's pretty cool to see. Let's see. Let's do some stats real quick. Now, whenever we look at the stats and everything the first thing that pops out, just immediately jumps out, is Ole Miss is up 42-7 in the first quarter, which means they're coming in with an excellent game plan. They're executing it, and they're pretty much dominating the team from the jump. So they're playing as a front runner. And it's always good to be a front runner. I want to see if this team can come back, but whenever things are going well, things go really well for these guys because right now they're number 1 in the country in scoring offense and number 1 in the country in total offense. Chance Campbell's leading the team in tackles. A.J. Finley's up there. Tysheem Johnson, my boy, up on the list. Otis Reese, Keydron Smith. Keydron Smith is playing the Jake Springer role at the moment. But Keydron is doing an excellent job as well. So some depth is getting built from that position, which is actually something very positive to take away from the first 3 games, even though it's Louisville, Austin Peay, and Tulane. Running the ball, you got Jerry and Ely at 188, Henry Parrish at 176, Matt Corral at 158. You have 3 players averaging over 50 yards a game, and Snoop Connor's coming in at 41 yards a game. It's balanced. It's spread out. It's just weapons all over the place. Also, Henry Parrish, Snoop Connor, and I believe Henry Parrish and Snoop Connor, the Mississippi-made class that everybody likes to make fun of from 2019. So that is pretty cool. Passing-wise, obviously Matt Corral. Look at that efficiency rating, 186.9. He's thrown the ball in 96 times, 66 completions, nearly 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. I mean, his stats are just eye-opening where they are. So it'll be interesting to see if that can continue whenever they go to Alabama, because that's going to matter a little bit. If this is one of those Heisman games. Receiving-wise, Dontario Drummond, 20 for 339. Jonathan Mingo on that behind 2 big weeks, 15 for 290, averaging almost 20 yards per catch. And look at that, 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns. And even Braylon Sanders, who has been slowly started out, is 8 for 133. He's averaging nearly 17 a catch. We talked on Talking Ball with Bill Flowers, the need for a tight end position. Dontario Drummond does some of the things that they do that, but it will be interesting to see if a tight end emerges. First downs, it's crazy. We're like 25 over second place in first downs. Rushing yardage, we're up near 300 yards, just like passing yardage, and our total number is somewhere in the neighborhood of like 632 yards per game. That's absolutely ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous that the offense is clicking at that rate against anybody. Sacks-wise, Sam Williams has 4 through 3 games. Damon Clowney, 1. Cedric Johnson, 1. Chance Campbell got 1. Tywan Malone, you see, didn't play 2 games against Louisville and Tulane, but he has a sack. And Ashanti Seastrunk and Momo Sonogo worked out and got a half a sack apiece. But this is an active group that usually only has 3 down linemen. It's a nose guard that kind of is a traditional type nose guard. We'll go through these stats a little bit again, so in case you didn't see it. But it's kind of a traditional type nose guard with 2 defensive ends. It's like they removed the 3 technique from the 4-2-5 to make it a 3-2-6. I mean, that's kind of what they did, and it's really interesting to see. And it's an impetus of these guys on the end to really, really rush the passer and get after the quarterback. Because if you give them time all day, they're going to pick you apart. They're going to do whatever because there has to be a clock that is sped up in that quarterback. You've got all those guys back deep, but unless that clock is not sped up, then you're in a little bit of trouble. So that's Archie barking at the yard, guys. So sorry for that, but Chance Campbell leading the team in tackles is interesting to see. But I like that Jerry Neely got going, 31 carries. Henry Parrish, look at the balance in carries. Matt Corral, 33 carries. Even Snoop Connor came back with 22 carries. We're going to take a short break. Whenever we come back, we will talk a little bit about Alabama, have a first look at them, and look at the top 6. Until then, stick around. Yeah, it's crazy. Everybody barking. Everything's going on. I'm not happy right now. But anyway, stick around. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the POMcast. They're not ringing the doorbell. The dog's still barking, but hopefully we will get through all of that. Maybe I might be able to give you a couple of minutes back today on the show. Well, I want to get into the first look at Alabama, and we're going to talk a little bit about it today on Talking Ball. We're going to record that with Bill Flowers. That'll come out Thursday. And what you see actually from Alabama, and one thing is actually abundantly clear. They're a good team. They're elite players all over the field. So right off the bat, hear that. No matter what scheme they run, they're going to be extremely effective in doing it because of the talent that they have all over the field. And that talent all over the field is what makes them dangerous, not necessarily the scheme this year. Now, Bill O'Brien is running a pro-style spread at Alabama. They're only averaging about 400 yards a game. There's against Miami, if you take away explosive plays, they would have been in the 300s for the game. There were 3 3-and-outs for Alabama in the Florida game. I mean, that should not be glossed over. This is not the normal Alabama that you got used to seeing several years ago. It's not that team. Now, they're a decent team. Like I said, their talent is enough to make them dangerous no matter what system they run. But this isn't Sark calling plays. This isn't Lane Kiffin calling plays. This isn't even Mike Locksley calling plays. This is more closer to McElwain and what they looked in, taking a game manager and turning them loose with A.J. McCarron. That was fun. They were dangerous back then, but they weren't what they became. This isn't Mac Jones. This isn't Tua. This isn't even Jalen Hurts. This is a dual threat quarterback that is pigeonholed into playing a pro-style game. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Because, I mean, they have the talent to do all that. And if you can limit the explosive plays, and Ole Miss does have a penchant every now and then to fall asleep and give up an explosive play. They would have given up probably 250 yards for the game for Tulane if they had not given up an explosive play. So, I mean, that's a real thing. That's something they have to contend with. And Alabama has the athletes to make explosive plays. That's kind of how they're getting by right now. There was a wheel route to Billingsley. There's all kind of stuff with John Mechie. There's I forget his name, the player that transferred from Ohio State that had the explosives against Miami. They have the players to do that, so we have to really mind our P's and Q's on that.